Hello, internet people. Thank you for being patient. I tried to get it within 10 minutes, but I'm still a bit behind. That seems to be a recurring theme with me. So today I may have mentioned before, but I made a bit of an oopsie with the challenge, which was that I misinterpreted my own rules. One of the rules was one course or 18 holes of a game. The reason I said that is that some games have a course that's 9 holes. Last week, when we were playing pocket golf, I misinterpreted my own rules for some reason to it being 1 round or 18 holes, which is a different kettle of fish. So, in the spirit of the challenge, I think what we'll do is we'll do pocket golf in earnest again. So we'll probably do, it seems the only version you can play single player is against the computer. So we'll do that. But what we'll probably do is 18 holes of it, meaning maybe a challenge and change, or if I manage to beat the opponent player, then we're just done at that point. We do also have to we have to choke down Itchy and Scratchy as well. But this time, I now know there was an option to turn the music off, and now I understand why there was an option to turn the music off. So we'll do that so it's not as painful, but rules are rules. We have to choke through that one. So enough blathering from me. I think it's time to get started. Oh, excuse me. I still need to clean up from St. Patrick's Day. Clean that, that, and that. There we go. Whew. Things are starting to turn into spring, and that means it's starting to get hot in this department again. It's already 25 in here, and all the vents are open. Don't want to turn on the air conditioner yet, but we're getting there. Anywho. So, I think at this point we'll just get the Itchy and Scratchy one out of the way first. Just because that's going to be the worst one. Still chilly as hell here. We actually had a freeze warning tonight. Really? I'm jealous. I'm weird. I enjoy winter more than I enjoy any of the other seasons. Because I don't suffer. I'm not miserable. Alright. Let's see if I can just get this one out of the way. Music off. That's immediately better. This is immediately bringing joy again. Same, at some point I run out of clothes I can take off of. Well, I was chatting with one of my old coworkers at my previous job put it best. He was an old Polish guy. And oh, where is it here? He said there are so many ways that you can warm up. You can put on more clothes. You can start a fire. You can plug a heater coil in. You can go to your car. But there really is only like one way to cool down, which is air conditioning. I kind of agree with that, because it's like, yeah, I can only strip down so much before it's just an unreasonable ask. This is immediately better. This is so much better without the music. It actually makes this... Now we're gonna have inappropriate music for it, and I'm here for it. Man. Alright. Come here, you. Come on. I'm gonna get you. I don't know what that is. Ah, jeez, I wasn't paying attention. So how's Suddenfall today, other than a freeze warning? You doing good? God, I go to look at chat and I immediately get messed up. At least that was mutually assured destruction. Almost got me. Almost got me. Oh, this is so much better with tick. Daily load of stuff to storage really took it out of me. 2 hours of organizing stuff in my house. Well, I'm glad it was cathartic for you. As much as it helps me to be organized, this place is just... My place here is just a mess still. One of those things where it's like, yeah, it feels good to be organized and sorted, but not that much. Music's actually a little low. Let's crank it up. There we go. That's better. That's supposed to be Hans Mole Man. Okay, so luckily it looks like this course has 9 holes, so I don't... So that rule that I'm now properly interpreting is to my advantage. Didn't go over here, didn't know it did not. Probably fell down this way. There it is. Ah, man. I got north. Alright. Forgot there's a wind-up to each of these attack animations. So I can't just, like, catch Itchy and... So I can't just, like, catch him on a whim and smack him. Kind of have to know beforehand. And... boop. No, you don't. Well, if Nate's sending tests like I saw earlier, I think that means... Oh, ah. And then tells he got something running. Either that or he accidentally nuked his PC and wanted to make sure it was okay. So technically this is your 4th hole since you completed the first 2 last time. Yeah, you're right. That would count. Because I got through the 2nd hole before there was a unanimous no more. Oh, that doesn't count as a strike, eh? A stroke. Ooh, what's this? Oh, that's an eraser. Okay. Oh, come on. Cough, cough. Excuse me, I need to implement some kind of cough button. Of the media, yes, I did. So that one won't be too long. I don't think, anyway. Oh, curse you. There we go. That means I could do 4 holes of the other one too. Press the select button to choose a weapon. Oh, so you can have multiple weapons. Kind of hoping that you could shoot over the bridge or something, but I guess not. Alright, where'd it go? Oh! Oh, no, no. There we go. Oh. I can't lob it, can I? That's what I think of this game. Oh, so I do have to send it back this way then. No, 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 you don't. Where'd my ball go? Did it go all the way over here again? Did I lose my ball? I think I did. Immediately to the right of the coffin. Up there. May not be able to interact with it, though. Oh, no. I see there's the slope, but I don't actually see the ball. Further left? Oh, maybe it did bounce back farther. Might not have been paying attention. I might have accidentally got it into this pipe. I'm gonna take a gander over here. I think it did just disappear. This is a problem. All right. Let's try going further to the right. I think it did just disappear. All right, well, I have 0 lives left, so I can just take a hit. Probably. This is unfortunate. Alright, do me in. There we go, so I have a ball back. I have to be very careful. Okay, so it went in that pipe. Comes out here. Goes into this pipe, then goes up. They are so generous giving 2-hole continues, if someone's willing to play for that long. Come here, you. Oh, he's gone. There we go. I'm getting the hang of that. Oh, and there it is. I mean, like, I can appreciate what they were trying to do. It's just done really badly. I think First to Golf does like a lot better job of this type of style of golf game. It's neat because it's a little procedurally generated game. And, oh, come on. And it is a platformer like this, except the main mechanic other than swinging, yes, because golf isn't shit shovelware. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Somebody actually took some time and effort and, like, love and pride in their work. This ball is stuck in a corner. Bounce the ball off the wall. 5 holes. Yes. Alright, so we're going this way. Honestly, the golf club's doing a better job than all the other weapons I'm getting. I say foolishly like a fool. Oh, neat, you can skip it on the water. At least I think that's what that was doing. Oh, no way, it's just the gravity's different. Uh-oh. We're trapped forever. Well, at least the ball's not lost. Okay. For Christ's sake. There we go. Honestly, I think the lack of music is what's making this bearable. I know I probably said it before, but I just gotta emphasize how not terrible I feel now. Or how less terrible I feel. I like how they don't have properly implemented mechanics for if you're too close to a wall. So they're just like, hey, if you're stuck against a wall, just smack it against the wall. I gotta shoot it into the cannon. I don't understand. Did it? I saw the ball clipped this way. Okay, good. It didn't do that. I'm just seeing things. Okay, there it is. Whew. Crispies. Death by Frisbees. I learned the other day that the origin of the frisbee was... Oh. Thought they were gonna... I was gonna throw knives for a minute. I learned that the frisbee had been invented because children were observed playing with empty pie tins. And the frisbee is just supposed to be a... No, it's just supposed to be a reproduction of that shape. Oh. Oh no, we're... Yeah, let's continue. A par 25. Holy crap. Do I want to? No. But do I? But will I? Yes. I didn't have time to react to that at all. I personally think it's unreasonable to get good if a game is bad. Is this a problem with skill and competency at this game? Yes. Is it worth it to become competent at this game? No. Yeah, the golf club does me better. Come on. Okay. I was bringing stuff in yesterday. I saw my PS2 copy of Swing Awake Golf in one of the boxes. I completely forgot about that game. This is one of the problems I have when I clean up and I organize or I move. Is suddenly I'll go through boxes and most of my time is spent with me going, huh, when did I have that? Well, I'm just gonna flip through this for a few minutes and then like 8 hours go by and I realize that everything I planned to do today just went out the window. I intentionally didn't actually go through the video game boxes. I saw it on top. It would have been hours. Yeah, it's dangerous. Ah, Jesus. I want to actually get through this hole. I mean, I don't really want to... Oh, so he can go up chains? That's not fair. That's just not... Oh. Meh. This is both tough and unfair. And here they're like, ah, fuck, we've run out of ideas. It would be nice if I could examine the course. But that's too much to ask. Is Jarritos available in Canada? It is, but it's kind of difficult to get. And we don't get as many flavors as in the United States. The only place I know is a restaurant chain called Sobeys, which is a more, like, it's a higher-end grocery store. The only flavor that matters is pineapple. I like their cola. And I'm a sucker for citrus goods. No, 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 no. And I also enjoy mangoes very much. I've had that one too. Yeah, have I had the pineapple one before? I put a 1.5 liter of pineapple in the freezer, and I got it nice and ice crystally, so good. Oh, so you get them in 1.5 liter bottles, hey? Yeah, we only get them in we only get them in the for fancy glass bottles. But yeah, they are pretty good. Oh, that's the wrong button. No, 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 please. No, please. Cease. I can't stand mango. It's like shitty peach. I can't stand peach either. I can get the fancy glass bottles too, but Walmart has 1.5 liters for a whole $1.30. Oh my god. That's how I get, like... That is how I die of a ruptured pancreas. Like, that's how we discover fission energy technology is possible in the beta cells of the Isles of Langerhans in the pancreas. As if I was given 1.5 liter bottles of Jarritos. 6 holes. I'm glad you're counting in preparation for us to move over to the slightly less painful one. Then I'll switch over to the Ness, which shouldn't take too terribly long. And then if I've got the energy and people are still interested as time goes on, I'll take the Amiga out. Yeah, I can only buy them as a treat. Yeah, same. And then if we finish the NES ones early, I'll get the Amiga 1200 is still on my bench here, so I'll bust it out. Lime is quite good too. I like the lime. I like the lime one a lot. Oh, that didn't work out so well. What's over here? The wall. Okay. Pineapple Jarritos. Whoa, what the hell? Now we just have, like, natural hazards in the course. Okay, so those are just booby trap buttons, so I have to be careful of them. I'm gonna have a pineapple one next time I go and get, like, burritos or something. Oh yes, that's the other one. Some of the Mexican restaurants around here... Wrong button. Some of the Mexican restaurants around here will also import Jarritos. That one wasn't fair. That wasn't fair. Okay. I'm out of continues, too. Okay. Trying to remember when I had a pineapple. I think I grabbed it once. Okay, so we were at 6. So what's the rule gonna be here? Because the course is 9 holes, but the rule is 1 course or 18 holes. Which means we might have to do this 18 times by my own rules. That's gonna be rough. Your own rules are very arbitrary. I'd say if the game says, I'm a 9-hole game, you played for 9 holes worth. I agree that my rules are arbitrary, and I didn't plan accordingly, admittedly. Trying to make sure I honor the spirit of it, but yeah, I think you're right, it should be a judgment call. I thought I was gonna die there during the animation. The spirit is what the game thinks a full set is, because clearly it's not 18. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I should get carried along with it. Okay, good. Whew, I almost screwed up. I'm actually going to be interested to see what Jack Nicklaus golf looks like on the NES, because we've seen what it's like on the Super Nintendo and the Game Boy. But I wonder what a 6502 like in the NES is going to do. Yeah. I don't really care about how many strokes it is. I just need to get through this. No. No. What the hell? Come on. I was able to do this earlier. There we go. Down the control pad. Stop the ball from rolling fast. Oh! I can stop the ball from rolling if I want. Seven. I'm just waiting for 9 like it's Happy New Year. I mean, it would be happy, wouldn't it? I was gonna suggest last night to play a board game online in an after session, but you were clearly worn out. Yeah, and I appreciate that, but you could tell my, that's the thing, is, and I've never, catch up, brain, catch up, brain, catch up. That part's normal. A buffer underrun on in my own brain is a very common thing. So let me try that again once I form my thoughts. That is something from my youth that I've never bounced back from, which is fatigue like knocks my cognition out so badly. It's to the point where I can't function, and that is a lot more sensitive. Like, I'm a lot more sensitive to that than others are. That's because of my post-secondary education, or at least I continue to blame that for all my problems. I don't regret it, it was a good course. But, basically what happened... What just went bang? Oh, that was a solenoid. Okay, we're fine. Scared me for a minute. It sounded like an electrical bang with my headphones on. There was a clerical error at my post-secondary institution, and our exams basically happened a month and change earlier than they should have. So for like 3 months, I was on 2 hours of sleep every 24 odd hours. And since that point, I can't look at Monster Energy drink without feeling unwell, and when I get tired, I become the most derpiest man imaginable. I'll still, sometimes if I'm doing good, I'll pull a later night, but yeah. Generally, if you see me struggling to form a sentence, it's not me buffer underrunning my own brain. That's what it is. Bonk. Don't know why I chose to overshare that, but I did. So there. Oh, right, this one. Alright. There we go. Alright, so we're at 8. Only one blasted hellscape left. Right when I start getting the hang of this, too. He says with great naivety. Did it happen? Okay, so it's... Oh, right. I know where it is. I completely lost track. It is down here and around. As I mutually assured destruction. Boop. Damn it. Uh-oh. That bad? Where'd that go? Somewhere where I can't use it. Okay, so is it... There we go. Yes! Oh, so if I'm under par, I get an extra life. Alright. So now we're back here. And I've not used any Actually, that's not true. I used a continue, didn't I? Ooh, nearly got bonked there. And I missed the bombs. Guess you'll play till you die? Yeah, I think that's a good way to handle it. Which means... Good riddance to bad rubbish. You know what? We'll take it. We'll take it. Bounce. Alright, let's see this fire up again. Give the cartridge a kick. Kick it again. There we go. I love how the creators of the cartridge weren't the ones who figured that out. It was a user who figured that out. They're like, why doesn't it work on the Super Game Boy? And they're like, yeah, it's not officially supported. And one guy goes, yeah, I just hit the reset button a bunch of times and it works. Alright. Alright, now this has got its own bad music. Alright, so we were at 16, I think. Or was it 14? I think 14. Okay, so 4 holes of this and we'll be fine. Hey Nate, how are you? We saw your test. It worked. We don't know what you were testing, but we know it was successful. 4 holes are guaranteed in an 18-hole match like this. You never play less than 10. I see. Oh, I was just saying that to see how long since I followed. Ah! Since once you've lost 9, you can still at least tie if you win the second 9. I see. Yes, let's hear an update on the USB drive. I gots to know. I have no fucking clue what's wrong still. Aw, I'm sorry. They still broke as fuck. Thought to display in disk part. Okay, that's good. But I even cleared the read-only attribute. It's still read-only. Why is it still read-only? Well, I mean, they do, when you get flash storage, more worth my time to just buy a new one than to deal with it. Well, yeah, sometimes they do pre-stage a USB stick for you, but like that's at like a firmware level on the stick between the flash chips and the controller. So I'm wondering if maybe there was actually something else wrong with that USB stick before you cleared the partition table on it. Well, you were never able to even clear the partition table. Ah, since it was only read-only. Ah, okay, you didn't even get to that point. Okay. Anytime I tried using diskparts or fdisk, it would just throw out a read-only error. Also tried gparted on Linux and no luck. Okay, if gparted can't help you, then yeah, something else is going on. So at least with Linux, gparted on Linux, you could have gone in as root and said to do something about it, I'm pretty sure. We tied. Alright. Frankly, using an ISO, hopefully to overwrite the Ventoy and format the disk. Yeah, maybe if you use something like... Yeah, maybe if you use Etcher and try and write something else on there, maybe that'll help. But I'm trying to figure out what else would cause a read-only flag on the whole volume. Etcher wouldn't work. You know another thing you could do? We're getting into dangerous territory now, but you've used DD. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to recommend. Is DD the whole drive with dev0. That's exactly it. But be careful. Do it on a VM, because if you do it on your main machine and you screw up that last letter and you accidentally poke at your hard drive instead, you accidentally erase your own hard disk. But yes, that is a penultimate way to nuke and pave a drive. Type that wrong and yeah, you'll have the worst day. Unix people used to have a joke name for DD. It stands for Data Duplicator. It's also called Disk Destroyer. Because back in the Unix days, there were way too many people who screwed up the drive letter. 6- and 7-figure men. Does nuking a drive equal never working again or just data gone? Nuking means destroy all data on it. So basically, it would be like SanDisk rolled it fresh out of the factory, like didn't even pre-stage it for you, because they pre-put FAT32 on it usually. So it would be like they just picked it up fresh out of off the conveyor belt. I'm fine not running it in a VM. Okay, good. Good, good. Yeah. And be aware of the consequences. Because remember, DD won't ask you if you're sure, because it's the Unix philosophy. Also research the command in more depth, though. Unix admin for 23 years. Yeah. Well, if you're running Zorin, I'm pretty sure Zorin uses Bash by default. Right, yes. Zorin's based off Ubuntu. Which is based off Debian. And yeah, Debian uses Bash. This distribution I was using originally came sorted, not sorted, shipped with fish instead of Bash. They had too many complaints, so they eventually rolled it back to Bash, but made it look like fish. Or they're set up for fish. Oh no. AIX uses CSH as its default shell. At one point I actually remember the relevant differences. That stuff has all slipped my mind. The other one won't let me etch TrueNAS onto it. And Nichisu's here too! Oh, that's a better way to do it. I remember somebody... That's a better way to show process or progress. You kill minus user 1 in the DD process. Because what I was taught to do in some Unix operator's book back in the day was they're like, yeah, completely wrap DD in this special script and it'll make a progress bar at the bottom. And it was like 3 lines of typing that couldn't be boilerplate because my experience, I've had fronts not work due to loose wires or too much power draw. Now, why would neither of them etch? So why would all of them suddenly become read-only? Etcher was working fine before doing all the bullshit with disk part and stuff. The old turn it off and on again for discs. The partition tables just say 14.5 gigabytes unallocated out of a 16 gigabyte drive, which means that your partition table, that's a 16 gigabyte drive, right? Yeah. Okay, so what it did when you etched it is it put, if the disk image is 2.5 gigabytes, it put it at the start of the USB stick, and then the rest of the stick wasn't used because it's not needed for the disk image. Would it not show the other partition, though? The other partition should be there. If it's showing nothing at all, it just has the unallocated? Oh shit, okay. How did he... Oh. I almost chipped it in, too. Just has the one. Okay. Well, then that's good. May have failed at some point during alloc. Well, he was using disk imaging tools on it, so it's whatever the format was for the disk image he was burning onto the stick. So some do extension 4, some do FAT, some do... actually, none of them do NTFS with what he was doing. Yeah, so... Oh! That's a good clue. Because Windows will not read ext4, and it'll consider it unallocated. Interestingly, Windows does have an entire subsystem for file system drivers, but nobody writes them. There is a user space program. Is that why it won't let me format it either? Maybe. There is a... If you're interested, there is a user space driver for extension file systems, like ext 1 through 4. I think it's still being made. But that would be a good way to tell if the etching actually worked. I actually use Fuse for Windows for decrypting 3DS ROMs. Oh, were the 3DS ROMs in Extension 4? Windows thinks it's not there. Yeah, Windows would think there's some bizarre proprietary format. Ah, I see. But someone wrote a Fuse driver for it. Oh, wow. Oh, I did that again. Damn it. Wapow. I'm stuck using Windows, but I hate it and can't realistically switch to Linux. Yeah, it's a bit of a learning curve, I gotta admit. I have no idea, but he still won. That's the only reason I switched back. Games are not only more optimized, but they're much easier to play. Yeah, I still have headaches once in a while with playing some games. The big one is if they're using anti-cheat. Fuck DRM. Yeah, the DRM is the tough one, because they do a... Imagine some games like Valorant would never run on Linux. I don't think it will, because I can still run Linux on my desktop. Actually, as of right now, because I'm no longer... Since it has an insanely power-hungry anti-cheat. Like, honestly, there is no Windows computer in my home anymore. The only one was from my former employer. It was because they weren't willing to. Majority of the time, DRM only stops people who have legit bought it from playing. So a lot of those anti-cheats work by they put a Ring 0 driver in your Windows box, So, sorry, in Windows. So that cheat, that anti-cheat tool gets access to every single thing you're running and can analyze all of it. So basically, at no point can Windows say, no, you're not allowed to look at that. And they use that to catch you cheating. But, which is just disgusting to be able to do. Well, from a cybersecurity standpoint, I remember hearing a few experts piping up saying that the next thing that needs to be assessed when, you know, you hear about individuals being targeted and attacked is whether or not they're using anti-cheat or they're exploiting the owner's games that have anti-cheat to break into the system and gain access. Because once you take over that anti-cheat, you have access to the entire operating system. Never give it any program you don't 100% trust that much power. You still can't get into, what is it called? Social Club? Yeah, Sunfall was, it would be down for an after-stream board game. Yeah, that might be a good wind down. Oh, it's too weak. No, that was good. You can friend me there once you make an account. Is Sunfall there? Surprising no one. Golf is one of those sports that uses imperial measurements for some reason. Gears. I want to just call it years now. Infuriate every golfer. Give me some years. You go on a golf game. Look at these. Look how many years it is. Jesus Christ. There's a big fucking lake in the middle. It's gotta be like 75 years. I'm sorry. I'm just having fun with it now. It sounds like a guy with a Boston accent Who doesn't know what a Boston accent sounds like? Squeered. 4,000 years squeered. Wapow! Butts. Ooh. Oh, hang on. I was supposed to have stopped this game a long time ago. Well, there we go. So we did it. We actually finished the conditions for the challenge for Itchy and Scratchy, and we finished the conditions for this now. So now, I thought we said play through till a win or loss. Oh, you're right. You're right. I can't even remember what we're doing right now. My God. I am not. You're lucky. You dodged a bullet. You dodged a bullet. All right, let me dig out the NES. This shouldn't take too terribly long. It's actually cooling down in here with the lights open. It's decent. Oh boy. Wasn't looping or I would have left. Yes, yes. I now understand fully why they gave the option to turn the music off. Right. That out of the way. That out of the way. This is a very questionable AC to DC adapter. Input 100 to 245 volts at 60 hertz. Output 9 volts, 850 milliamps. This thing weighs like... It's hollow. It's hollow inside, but it's the size of like one of those big transformer bricks. But it's sonically welded shut, and I don't want to pop it open. But it gives power to the SNES, and it doesn't damage it, so I'm rolling with it, but I'm gonna ask questions. Primarily how? Our plug-in class 2 transformer. This works. It's magic. It's a Shenzhen... It's Shenzhen magic. Question Nintendo Tech, it just works. That's there. That out. Alright, put this away. Does it fit in here? I can't remember where I put this away initially. Ah, it was it? That's exactly where it's supposed to go. Boop-a-doop-a-doop-boo. Doop-a-doop-a-doop-doo. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Gonna fall in here, right? Easy. Easy, I remember having some kind of organization around this place. Plug it in and play Animal Crossing in peace. Hey man, those, that GameCube, I managed to pop one open. That thing is built like a tank. Like, the heat sink is also all of the structural shit. Alright. Video. Oh. And there's the power supply. Bloop. I shouldn't have done this while it was hot. Excuse me for having my mouth like 2 millimeters away from this microphone while I plug shit in. Oh, that is not stable. Signal's going haywire. 111 hertz? Get bent. What the hell's happening to this thing? Start, damn you. Huh. Making orange chicken sauce on the Ingles Live Studio Experience mobile. You're watching me question, did my beloved Polish Ukrainian flash cartridge finally die? Come on, old boy. I believe in you. What does that say? Where's the flint? First partition unknown. Did it corrupt? Uh-oh. That cartridge just killed the SD card? Oh, we're in the 21st century now, boys. Alright. What does Linux say? What does the partition manager say? Oh yes, it just nuked my it just nuked the SD card. Looks like I'm not the only one with flash storage is murdering itself. 21st century problems, 20th century solutions. Alright, so that means if I kick this on now, it should say... Now it says no card detected. Alright. Pull up G parted. You wanna play SNES? Well, fuck you, guys. Well, this was me flipping to the NES. This is with my questionable Polish / Ukrainian, what does this say? Unallocated information. Dev SDA unrecognized disk label. Okay, so it does see something there. This is the NES, not the SNES one. SNES with Ned. Finally, oh, neighborinos. Gonna play some idly biddly video games? Alright. What do I want to do about this? Alright, the Nintendo Entertainment doofus. There we go. The view buttons will create read-only views of each file system. All mounted views will be unmounted when you close this dialog. Okay. It's not going to let me write the partition table back in. That's unfortunate. Well, while we're doing this, let's get the hold music. The place for hot partitioning action tonight. My god. I was not prepared for this, but I at least got to use the data rescue part of Gparted, which is nice. But it doesn't let me write the partition table back in. View buttons create read-only views of each file system. All mounted views of... There's still more requirement to get it working than... It's good to see in this modern era, the NES still requires more time to get it working than it takes to play it. Alright, let's see. Whenever you figure out how to unfuck a flash drive, hit me up. Alright. So data rescue, I guess, did work. Just I wanted it to write the partition table back, but it wouldn't let me do that. But I do know it's FAT32. Block SDA, okay. Well, not the end of the world. There wasn't a lot in there anyway. It was just a few games. So what I'll do, I'm gonna be dangerous. Lick the drive and put it back in. Worked for my cousin once. FAT32. Information. So I want it to just write the table. I don't want it use disk destroyer ever. Destroy disk. Alright, let's revert that. What I want to do... Bad 32. Okay. Well, not the end of the world. So, what I think happened was, when the cartridge went goofy, it just wrecked the contents of the disc. So I just reformatted it. Ah, whatever. I should have those golf games on here somewhere. NES. Alright. 18 holes. Okay, so we're gonna use the American one. Create new folder. IL PC. Alright, NES. What was the other one? Oh yeah, that was, what's the company called again? Not Titus. Atlas. Atlas, that's what it was. Oh, it's Golf Grand... Oh, yeah, it's sometimes called Golf Grand Slam, so maybe that's what I'll look for. What the hell? There's actually more here. Where is Golf Grand Slam? That's golf, PC10. Greg Norman. Who the hell is Greg Norman? Okay. We actually have a few more in here than I expected. There we go. Now what is it saying? Let's just move the... cluster out of range in file allocation table. Get it. Oh, that's better. you. You get to experience technical problems in real time. Oh man, I just realized the flash cartridge also saves. If you had NAND flash in the cartridge, it also saved, well, the saves there too. Alright. So let's just hurry up. We'll go Jack and Nicholas, and we'll see if this implodes. It's holding up. It is not imploded. We're in the clear. My questionable Polish-Ukrainian flash cartridge is showing its cracks now. Oh god. Alright, let's see. Use the control. It's one player. Pro, men's, ladies, to next player. Okay. Don't nuke the drive again. Yes, I must be very careful. When you are done, press the start button. Okay. Ugh! You must be Jack! Alright. Those queso burrito in my current playthrough. Ooh, tasty. Queso burrito. You know, this is actually running pretty well. Did Jack have a throw at some point? I've no idea. I think that was just a limitation of the palette, of the sprite palette. All right. 163 yards. 5 iron can go 173 yards, so I don't need to go all the way. Ah. Sand wedge goes 80 yards, distance 40 yards. That's too far. You know what? I'm actually impressed. I'm impressed the NES can do this. Rapid hair loss. Well, just this game and, like, this whole engine in general. Alright. Fucking go 80 feet. Yeah! Orange chicken finished. Good stuff. That was a pretty quick, that was pretty quick orange chicken. Holy crap. God, that does not... I know that's supposed to be flattering, but no. No, that's, oh, that's too hard. That's too hard to the left. Chicken orange zest and other stuff. Not sure what's in the sauce. He looks like a very creepy Fred from Scooby-Doo. Like one who asks you if you want candy out of the van. Looks a lot like Jack Nicklaus. Okay. 18 yards, pitching wedge goes 100, so here. He's an old boy. He was golfing in '66. Didn't take long because it's from a bag and takes 13 minutes in an air fryer. Oh, we're in the 21st century now. Oh. It's just a desktop convection oven, but still magic. Well, whoever was like, you know what, let's take this convection oven, let's shrink it down, and let's, like, octuple the amount of heat it generates and the octuple the airflow. Needs a medal, because, my god, that's brilliant. That thing spits out 400 degrees Fahrenheit with no preheat. Well, that's why I kinda... They're pretty good. They're pretty good. I mean, I don't have one myself either, but I've gotten to use one. So I get to hear people go like, oh, it's just the convection oven. It's like, yes, it is. But But to do it in a regular convection oven takes like 4 hours rather than 20 minutes. Let's see, 36 yards away, max distance is 100. We have a nice one that has a bunch of fancy settings that can even do rotisserie. An air-fried rotisserie chicken. Oh my god. So every day when I'm visiting, it's magical for reheating anything you want crispy. Ah. No! I'm just not having a good time here. What the hell is going on here? I like the AI in that hole. Well, what's really throwing me through a loop is when it puts it at an angle like that. So I think what they're doing to simulate having a break, like a real curve in the on the green, is they'll deliberately put the hole off kilter to kind of simulate having a bend or a break in the green. But I'm having a hard time figuring out what the dimensions are, what it is in 3D when it's presented that way. I'm not making myself clear, but I'm still trying. Basically, I'm trying to get used to what it's trying to relay to me. I just don't quite understand it. I'm sure it wasn't so bad. I would love to play GTA Golf with you, but yeah. It's a shame you still can't get in. Horde. Shortest par 5 in Major Championship Golf. That was a good putt. I'm pleased with that one. Oh, and it had to recompute it. God damn it. Wanted to see where I was supposed to hit. Where did it actually go? Oh crap, it's in the rough. Alright, we're hitting over it. You can't hit over the trees, god damn it. Can I get under the trees? Can probably do it this way. Oh, a higher arc. I could do a pitch wedge as hard as I can. No, I didn't do it. It's a shame the trees are not having any of your sass. You're right, I might need to do... Oh! Oh, good, they did account for this. still too close. There we go. Stop hitting the tree. I hate trees. I want my revenge on the trees. Trees killed my family. Alright. The Lorax got cheated on by a tree. Wait, what was that sound? Did I actually hit the post? Did I hit the pin? Alright. So the brake is to the left, so I gotta compensate a little bit. Ooh, that's a strong brake. Holy shit. This game has more accurate physics than most AAA games now. The crazy part is, like, this is on... Hey, you know how I was mentioning the Commodore 64 earlier on Twitter? When I dug up that old board? It's using the same process... The NES uses more or less the same processor in it. Oh. That is insanely sad. Modern games can't hold up to a Commodore 64. There are people still making games for the Commodore 64. This was actually... Specifically, the Commodore 64 is what gives me a wave of dread about this challenge. Because I know I'm going to be plugging away at this for a long time, but I think what will make the challenge never end is the Commodore 64. The boss of Final Fantasy is literally a sentient tree. Oh my god. Modern game dev should be able to completely knock a Commodore 64 on its ass before it even knew what happened. That's true. It's true. Like, I'll put it to you like this. An American Commodore 64 runs at 1 megahertz. Unless you're European, in which case it's 980 kilohertz. And you can still run golf games on it. Problem is that gaming got popular and companies went to make money, so games became how much money they can pump, not how much fun we can make it. Yep, 3.5 to 5 gigahertz. Right, so right, about the challenge. Why I'm concerned about the Commodore part is, the C64 has one of the largest software libraries ever for, like, any home computer platform, and because it was before the internet, historians agree that there is a very large amount of software that has never been documented that has existed, which means that at any time somebody could just dig through a dead guy's boxes as they're cleaning out his estate and find a golf floppy, and technically the challenge wouldn't be over anymore. Per processor, which they have many, and that's not even mentioning overclocking. Like, it's amazing what you can do with... You don't need a lot to have fun. The challenge is more aspirational than really meant to be finished. Yeah, it's true. And honestly, it's a good way to fill in a Sunday and just, you know, have a chat with people while still playing a game. Because, like, I can hold a conversation with you guys while I do a terrible job at golf. I think mine's only 3.3, but the architecture is what makes the difference. Yeah, because you're running... Is yours the, a Ryzen or a Threadripper? I can't remember. Oh, Ryzen. I just don't understand this one. I just don't understand what it's on an angle, what it's trying to actually convey to me. Not that it matters. 3950X. Well, interestingly, I was actually not chatting. I was listening to a, of all things, it was a presentation on Python and some ways to optimize Python for modern systems. Even my 2009 dual core could absolutely destroy a Commodore 64. Yes, you can run a Commodore 64 emulator on anything. And that's like emulating all of the hardware. The design of... Honestly, the design of the 64 is really weird. It's fun. It's a whole story in of itself. But where was I going with this? Oh, yes. I heard a conference on Python, and they were talking about... While it was about ways to optimize Python, what they talked about a bit was the technological problem with CPUs right now. So the reason there was such a performance boost when you say went from a 133 megahertz Pentium to a 1 gigahertz Pentium 3 was because as you make the transistors smaller, the amount of time it takes for signal to go from one transistor to another is shorter, so you don't have to wait as long for the signal to get there, which means you can run the system faster. The reason we can't get past 5 gigahertz is because we're now having a problem where you just can't get the heat away from the transistors fast enough. That's the problem. That's why overclockers can get to 9 gigahertz, but it destroys the processor, because they basically douse the whole thing in liquid nitrogen. And they completely freeze it, and then they run it to get as fast as they can, but once they do it once and shut the thing down, it's wrecked, because the thermal shock just shatters it. And so the problem now is that we could run them at 10 gigahertz, 15 gigahertz. It's just there's no way we can get thermal energy away in with such efficiency that we wouldn't end up destroying the transistors in the process of running them at that speed. Ooh, birdie. Oh no, if they do it right the time... Oh no, if they do it right time, they warm it up. Burbo, I got a birdie. I don't even know if this Pentium MMX works, I just realized. Could be completely effed and I don't know. Well, there's only one way to find out, I guess. Alright. go goofy. Oh, gosh. That's goofy. Out of bounds? To which? Oh, no, I hit A too early. La la la. Da 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 da. Oh, 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 what's that? Did I did it? Did it? No, it's too perilous. Okay, so I have to do this, I think. So obviously lining up to the hole isn't working. Here? Good stuff, good stuff. Bup. Yeah, finally. You be quiet, Jack. You be quiet. Can't believe that. Okay, we're gonna go here. Well, there's a bit of wind, so I gotta over. There we go. Now the wind's gonna take it back. There we go. I did it. Still a bit of wind. Actually, that's a lot of wind, I think. All right. This says that there's no break. But I don't think that's accurate. Well, I just goofed that one up. That's fine, though. No, please. Oh no, it's this all over again. Alright. What the hell? Why did it curve? God damn it. Can I get it to the hole eventually? Up, up, up. Nice putt. Thank you. Oh, hole 11. Actually, we're going through this pretty okay. I didn't catch what Jack had to say about it. He probably was like, I like this hole because I played here once. Where's my money? Uh-oh. This hole is one of the holiest holes in golf. I know, I saw it. I was there. I made money. Okay, distance 90 yards, pitching wedge goes 100. I'm in the rough, so up here. Wapow! Alright. The clubhouses here have the finest waitresses. If you're there, you know. Well, good luck. I see you ordered the fries. Oh. How come when I go to the clubhouse, there are no clubhouse sandwiches? Why can't they just put bread in the middle of a BLT? The most dangerous short hole in golf. A man died there once. Are you excited for Cyber Tiger? I think I'm missing a reference. PS1 golf game with a chibi Tiger Woods. Really? Well, I do have a PS1, but I actually... Oh, shit. What do I need to do to that? It's got a... I put a reproduction PS1 disk drive in it, but I don't know... I don't know how to get disk images onto it, because I don't have CDRs. Shit, I'm gonna have to get an optical disc emulator for it, won't I? And relatively soon, too. There are several ways to mod PSXs to have drives and stuff. Well, PS1s also have, they also have network add-ons, don't they? And suddenly me wanting all my computers to have disk drives isn't so crazy. Like, call me an old fart, but I got a little miffed when I kept seeing the, like, tech, what are they called? When you pay somebody who, for some reason, is super important to write an opinion in a newspaper so it gets passed off as fact. Right, in later PS1s, they took it away because nobody was using them. Or none of the third parties were using them like Sony thought they were going to. That I remember. Oh. I managed to putt into the sand. You know, as professionals do. Wait, no, I didn't. The only third parties using them are cheat engine-y sort of things at Sony. Don't give a fuck about that. One of my favorite finishing holes in golf. Alright. Oh, no. Oh, no, wait. I mean, I'm a genius. I'm a fantastic golfer. Oh, my God. I also realized I need to get a Magnavox Odyssey emulator going. Because I am not buying a Magnavox Odyssey just to play golf. There's a golf game for the Odyssey 2? Yes, and I think it's just called Computer Golf. And apparently it is one of the first home computer golf games. Also, the best thing they ever did was backwards compatibility, then removed it later. Like, I was looking it up, and... Oh, is it? Oh, yes, and I have to worry about the Naboo now. Naboo, that one's a hell of a story. Holy crap, I got a birdie. Longest hole in major championship golf. So the Naboo is an interesting story, and I don't know who here knows about it, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. Emulation.gametechwiki.com. O2EM. Odyssey 2 emulator, I assume. Let me pull that up in a tab for later. So, oh yeah, the Naboo. So, I don't know who knows about the Naboo, but I'm saying it anyway to fill in dead air, I guess. Also, because I'm a nerd and I just want to talk about it anyway. So, there was particularly good for finding the best emulators for each platform, which reminds me to open up my PS to see if we can fix it, or if God of War killed it. There's definitely trying to figure out the price of my server again. Oh no, it's all good. That's a good investigation, though. I'm curious to see what the results are, too. You got closer, hey? At minimum $3,000. That's a good price for it. MSRP of the CPU is $1,500 each. So if that's MSRP, and then if you're a manufacturer, you get it at a discount so you can sell it for the MSRP. Which is cool. Oh, right. I'm distracting myself. The Naboo. So, there was a cable company in Ottawa that got around $88 for RAM, but that's definitely false. That's probably what it's worth now. So there was a cable company in Ottawa, and they tried an experimental service where they would give you a 12 gigabyte, 1 gigabyte DIMMs of DDR2. He's got 12 of them. They would give you a home computer that had no onboard storage, and it had a proprietary NIC in it. Oh, you have 8. Okay. We originally... And, 178, 185. Okay, so we'll go here. For advanced ECC RAM. If it... yeah, you're right. That seems a bit off to me. Are you sure it's not maybe 88 per stick? I could see 88 per stick. Oh, right. So if that's for non-ECC. So if it was ECC, I'd say it would be doubled. So 176. Yay. Excellent. Par 3 tricky. Clear 19 yards, max drive 220. Whack! Oh, I even went too far. What do we do here? So the brake is a little to the right. I gotta pull it a bit to the left. Be a bit more because it's 32 feet I have to go. Still not enough. Current price comparable would help with the original play. I mean, if you're really hard up and can't find the original price, you could do finding MSRP for that. I mean, another way you could do it is through average depreciation value of electronics and inflation. Both of those could give you an estimate too, if you combine them together. I sent myself that hard, though. Yeah, that one is a tall ask, I admit. What was I on about? If you do make a video, though, it'll be one of a kind. That... I mean, that would be interesting. What was I on about before? Oh yeah, the Naboo. I'm not cut out for video making. Oh, that's fair. A lot of work and not a lot of payout, eh? I mean, there's like lazy game reviews Plenty do, they just aren't well known. Yeah, there's like Retro Hack Shack, Adrian's Digital Basement, Lazy Game Reviews. It's like, what makes them stand out, though? Just record, then get a Fiverr voiceover. Excellent putt. Most famous par 4 in the world. Oh my. Now, if I'm a brave boy, I'm gonna shoot over that house and not smash the windows out. But the wind is gonna make this interesting. Oh, hey, that worked out. So the wind's pretty aggressive. 220 yards, max drive 235, so I'll go here. And the wind should pull it back. Did a bit. So I'm gonna have to, oh yes, the Naboo again, right. So, a bunch of old nerds managed to dig up an old, one old nerd found a warehouse of these computers called the Naboo. And the Naboo was this experiment done by a cable provider in Ottawa in the 80s, where what they did is they gave you a home computer that looked like a VCR, and it had no internal disks. It just had a network adapter, and all of your software and all of your data was held with the cable company. And you would just request software on the fly, and it would get dumped to RAM on the computer, and it would run. So it was like the great-granddaddy to the internet and the great-granddaddy to cloud services. And it flopped, so all the machines got junked, except for this warehouse of them. And now, we've got a whole bunch of old nerds doing old nerd things. Which means now, somebody has built an emulator for it, and there's an entire software suite, and there's now a community reproduction of that entire infrastructure, which means there's a very real chance there's a golf game on there. The undernetty. The undernet. Yeah, pretty much. Which means there's a very real chance I have to figure out how the hell all that works, because I bet you there's a golf game for it, because what's more, the Naboo is architecturally similar to an MSX, which means any game for the MSX is going to be ported to the Naboo eventually, and ports count in the challenge, so this is... Oh my god. Alright, let's see, 39 feet. Yeah, I did it. Alright, last one. My favorite golf course in all the world. You seem to have dug yourself quite the nerdy hole with this challenge. Pun intended. There's why when I made the initial picture it says to hell and back in a rented golf cart, because I know it's what... There's another reason I did it, because it's a slow burn in a person's head, because they're like, golf challenge? Oh, just playing 18 holes of golf in every game? That's easy. And then you realize, like, how many are there? And then a few days later, you're like, oh my god, there's a lot. Best part is it's Canadian, which makes sense. We got that ice fiber net. Oh my god, I can't believe you remember that. The ice fiber net. Oh, that was dumb of me. Me who knows nothing about Canada. Well, okay, the point is there's no such thing as ice fiber net, but I managed to convince, when we were all wee lads, I managed to convince a really, really rude American guy that our telecommunications infrastructure was failing because people kept driving Hummers because the ice was melting, which meant the network was melting. And then he's like, I don't believe you. I don't believe that works. I'm like, well, salt water has a different refraction index than regular water, than regular ice, but it requires minus 20 Celsius to work, or else the salt water turns into regular water. Sorry, the salt ice turns into salt water. I think we accidentally convinced him it happened while we were kind of making fun of him. Kind of like the Polar Bear Express, but it's a like optic made of ice. They made a guy feel like a dick, gets them to thinking ice worked as optic fiber and then never told him. Yeah, I did. Causing havoc with the network. Yep. Yeah, it was mean. I applaud you. Well, thank you. In my defense, he was a jerk. B to get gaslit. Yeah! Okay. Canadians use ice as their networking infrastructure. Well, to be honest, it's not too much of that's not too much damage caused when we still have people from the United States who've said that we live in igloos. Not as a joke. You do though, right? I mean, I do. That's why I get so grumpy when it's hot out. When people found out I'm from the South Louisiana, sometimes they get asked if I had to row to school. Well, that's an interesting thing about igloos architecturally. Alright, so we technically could use ice as infrastructure. We used to have the Ice Hotel. Was it the Ice Hotel or the Ice Palace? Pretty hard to school. We don't have streets in South Louisiana. It's all like Venice, but a swamp. Yep. Alright. The Ice Hotel's in Sweden. Oh, that's what it is. Well, it's not the Ice Hotel. We have historically done structures with ice around here. There's one somewhere in Russia, too. Where was I going with this? Oh, yes. So, igloos have some interesting architectural stuff to them, too. The more famous one is in Sweden. Come on. These wireless controllers take forever to connect up. There we go. So the one interesting thing about igloos is, despite them being made of ice, they retain heat pretty well. Because what happens is you kind of get, you don't get like blocks of ice. You get like an icy snow that's hard packed. So it does have little air pockets in it. And when you first assemble an igloo, you're supposed to run a really intense fire in it. And it basically partially melts the inside. And then you snuff the fire, and then it refreezes. And now what you have is a very reflective ice glaze on the inside. So then the next time you light a fire or get a heat source in there, it no longer absorbs it and melts, it reflects it back in. So then the dense packed snow, you melt, then cut a hole for the smoke. Ah, that's what it is. Michisu would also know better than I would. Golf Grand Slam. Actually, let's do Bandai Golf Challenge, Pebble Beach. Now you melt, then cut the hole for the smoke. Regular tea, no handicap. All right, Nate. Thanks for nerding out with us, and you get good sleep in ya. Oh, right. Yeah, you've got your standardized tests. Good luck with those. Thanks, you too. Alright. How late am I gonna go? Well, I want to do I want to do 4 hours, but that would get us to midnight, which would be 3 a.m. your time, right? So it might be going... I don't want it to go too late or too early for you. Well, when were you thinking of doing it? Would only be 2 a.m. here. I see. Is that too late in the evening for you? Because I mean, we could always... Yeah. Okay. I mean, if my mind's still if my cognition's still all there, then I'd be willing to. That is, if Michisu and them are. Else we could always do it another odd night, because my week is pretty much open, so I'm fine with anything. But I would like to take you up on that one of these, like, either this evening or sometime during the week. I like that side view of the heights. I like that too. Like the angle of the... Unless you can see the slope of the course. Still trying to figure out the stroke thing here. Oh, that was a pitching wedge? I thought that was using the putter. Okay. So it's a sand wedge. Ooh, almost chipped it in. Aww. 3 question marks. Didn't even know what to say about that. Alright. 1-player course. That looks okay. Oh, and the panning is nice too. I do like that. Aw. Seems like you can flub it pretty easy here. Oh, the woods counts. Okay. Okay. Seven iron, huh? I don't know why it even recommended a 7 iron to me. Bogey. Alright, in the rough. So 3 iron. Why did it recommend a 3 iron? Just a tiny tap messes that up. Okay. Pitch wedge. There we go. There we go. I'm starting to get the hang of this now. Alright. What have we got here? So it wants to use a 3 wood, but knowing it, I should probably use a 3 iron instead. Still too much. Pitch wedge. Still too much. Jesus Christ. I thought I had this going, but I guess not. There we go. Oh, right, it's left and right, not up and down. Alright. And Double bogey. When did I get that? Alright. Pull her back. Let her fly. Alright. So I want a sand wedge and just a itty bitty tap. Easy chip. Yes, sir. You know what? I trust that angle. Damn it. Double bogey. Okay. Take a shot here. Oh, that's real nice. Oh, so close. So close to that safe patch. Oh, so you can't do precise movement here. It's in chunks. Okay. So if it's in chunks, I want to do here. What did I bounce off of, I wonder? Alright, and we'll give it a putt. Maybe a little more this way. Yeah, like right there. Oh, skimmed right by it. But at least it's easy now. That's not bad. Oh, no. That was way too hard. I'm gonna use the sandwich. I'm just gonna wallop it. I mean, it's nice. It's not like Itchy and Scratchy. This is actually a pleasant tune. Yeah, that was pretty good. Do 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 da 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 da. Da 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 da. Oh, that was pretty good. All right. Let's take a Okay, it wanted a 3 wood there. That's not happening. Going crazy. How about you going crazy? How about you? It sounds like I'm the only one who's enjoying this tune. There's just not a lot of it there. No. That's bullshit. Don't worry, we're almost halfway done. Do, 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 do. Alright. Sandwich. I hate it. But I can't help it, we are crazy. How about you? I'm feeling crazy, how about you? Oh, real close. Alright. How about this one? What can we do here? Pretty bad. Achoo. Seven iron? Okay. Okay. I'm having a hard time figuring out its recommendations, like why it recommends certain clubs. Like that game that just pointed you in a random direction that couldn't be asked to code it properly. Sometimes your caddy makes mistakes. You have to correct him to keep him on his toes. It's like, no, you just didn't program it. Ah. Question marks. Doesn't even know what to say about that. Alright, crank her back. Wapow! Wonder if it's gonna let me shoot over the trees. I think it's gonna let me. There we are. Bogey. Okay. I think I can just give this a decent wha-pow and we'll make it. Too far. Don't worry, Michisu, it's almost done. The music can stop. Why is it doing 7 iron? Just making lyrics to old games. Oh, it's lyrics. Okay. Took me a minute. I don't pick up on social cues the greatest, and even over text it's a little rough. How about you? So much fun. Did I flub it? There we go. Wanted the 3 iron. Okay, we're gonna do a sandwich. What the hell? It took my club and changed it from a sandwich to a pitch wedge on me, and I didn't notice until it was too late. Triple bogey. Oh. I almost did something stupid. Alright. You gotten an eagle yet in any of these? In the challenge? Yeah, not in the challenge, but I did actually get an eagle once on accident. And I actually have it as a clip. Not a clip, as a highlight. I think it's called Incompetent Golfer Golfs Competently. Three wood. I want 5 iron. Sandwich. Oh, got right out. Alright. It was a complete accident that I did it too. I was like, I think I shot from the trees trying to get onto the green and it just got chipped in. Oh, bogey. Alright, we're almost done this one. Pull her back. Let her fly. Boo-doo, 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 boo. Da-da-boo. Da-da-da, da-da, da-da. Alright. Alright. Yeah, it wants a 3 iron here. That's insane. No, no, no. Sandwich. Oh no. Okay. Little baby tap. Little tiny tap. Ooh, that was scary. It just spun around like a son of a bitch. Alright, 3 more holes. No, no, I almost shot in the middle of nowhere. I think I might wind down the challenge after this, because I'm feeling okay right now, but I know I'm gonna be feeling pretty rough if I keep going, like, with the challenge. I'll put a pin in it here. Because we got 1, 2... I think we got... well, we got 4 out of the way, including a particularly bad one. So, I think that's a good, nice, place to stop for the night. 3 iron. Let's use a 5 iron. Aw, man. Alright. Oh, too hard. Oh. It only makes bold strategies, thank you very much. Alright. 178 yards. So I don't even want a 1 wood. I probably want a 1 iron. There we go. And bogey. Alright, last one. Pull her back. Let her fly. You got solid at the button. Oh, thanks. See, that's a skill that kind of transfers over between the games. Is the top-down view where slopes are kind of defined by arrows. I like that. Kind of clever. Because it both is like a crack over the head with a clue by 4, hey idiot, this is the slope, but depending on how they style the arrows, it also looks like the contour of the hill, which is nice. Alright. But it wants a 3 wood. I'm not doing that. I'll probably do a 5 iron. Okay. We'll do a sand wedge. Oh, I got a normal ass par out of that. And there it is. Only 33 over. I mean, that's not terrible. I've done worse. I've done magnitudes worse. Like, whatever made Casey die inside. Okay, but what I am gonna do is I'm going to have the SD card ejected until the cartridge loads and runs properly, then put the SD card in so we don't have this incident again. But what that also means is I accidentally uncovered more NES golf games, which is great, because we can just continue with the NES. I can leave it hooked up for next week. Saves me headache. Okay, so now for winding down here, Sunfall, you were thinking of playing some board games, and Michisu, are you feeling good for winding down with board games today? Or tonight? How are we all feeling? Feeling good? I'm defo still down for that. Okay. Now, I'm not sure if we want to stream that or not. I think I might do that. I think that might be something nice to do off stream. For at least now. So, how about this? Can I wind it down? Actually, we don't really have another effective form of communication right now other than chat, so... Let's see what we want to do. Let me get the hold music on. You know, that would be a great idea, because I can connect with you that way. That's a great idea. Thank you. There it is. Doop-a-doop-a-doop-boo, doop-a-doop-boo-boo. Settings. I'll find it eventually here. But I think in this case, let me see. I think just gonna poke at Michisu here, but I think for now, I think this will do for the golf challenge. So I'll kind of pack it in here for I'll pack it in here for the golf challenge, and then maybe we'll play a board game off the stream to wind up the night. So I'll just say to everyone here, well, thank you for joining us for the 7th installment of the Ingles Legacy Golf Challenge. We got a fair amount out of the way. We got 4 games out of the way in about 3 hours and change. So that's quite a bit. So, as always, I'm not going to tell you what to do. So I'm not going to tell you to stay out of trouble. But all I ask, that if you do get in trouble, you make sure it's the good kind of trouble. And you all stay safe out there, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye for now.